the missing Creek girl, Zitkala must confront a tragic secret from her past, while Sam grapples with the clarion call of his Creek culture. So my book is in the genre of a historical fiction. I call it a historical fiction thriller. And I didn't want to reprise another strictly historical rendering of this story because it's been so well done, especially by Dr. DeVoe and others. But I wanted to animate the story in a way that you as a reader could relate to and perhaps feel the emotions of what these real individuals went through. So, and I think we all know, except for perhaps us history nerds like myself, most people aren't going to sit down and read a dry history book. It's just not going to happen. So I endeavored to reach a broader audience, again with the idea of bringing greater awareness of this story by casting this story with real characters who actually lived, but in a sense of a love story, the conspiracy that happened, and just make it more, shall we say, user-friendly. So that was my goal. The book is fundamentally, while there are various aspects of it, it's really about one man's search for his identity, Sam Davis, the Creek half-breed. And for those who were half-native, half-white back in the day, earlier in the 20th century, Oklahoma's beginnings, to be a half-breed may very well have been worse than being a full-blood, because the dominant society didn't really know what to do with you. Were you native or were you white? That was a big phenomenon back in the day. Obviously not so much anymore, but it was back then. So Sam has these identity issues, and I imbue in Sam's character a fundamental lie that he believes in, that drives him, pretty much all of his actions and his goals, which is if he can just accumulate enough wealth, he will be admitted into white society and he will have found happiness. That's the lie he believes in, and I would observe, I think, that for all of us, there either are or have been some fundamental lies that we believe in, that drive us, that inform our goals. And oftentimes that lie is when we do discover in life that, oh my God, it was a lie. The thing I've been striving for, I ultimately come to reject and go another direction. So without giving away too much of the plot, that is Sam's character arc. He starts at one point, he's going to wind up at another. His co-protagonist and love interest, Zitkala, she is, of course, kind of his foil. She is the change agent in his life. She's the one who begins getting him to question what he's doing, why he's doing it. Naturally, like all of us, when somebody points out, let's say, a fault in us, real or perceived, we tend to react defensively and try to cast aside what people, and typically people close to us, people who care about us, even those, we tend to push them away because it is really difficult. I think it's just basic human nature to not want to look in the mirror and really engage in a self-examination, because that could upset our whole world. The very thing that's been driving us, the very things that we believed in, now we're going to have to cast those off, and what happens? So, of course, Sam's character reacts that way, and there are other events that I put Sam through that could be considered, I guess, his crucible. The things that I put him through, it also caused him to begin to re-examine what he's doing. And for those of you who also are writers and have taken writing classes, one of the tenets of, I would say, good fiction writing is basically to say, put your protagonist through hell. And make one bad thing happen, make them do something stupid, something even worse happens. Tension and conflict, of course, drive fiction and good storytelling. So that's very much present in this book, and fundamentally about his his identity, who is he? And of course, this story is set against the backdrop of the grand conspiracy that Dr. DeBow so well documented, the grand conspiracy to steal valuable native lands, particularly in the former Indian Territory. And everything from the political system, the legal system, the bankers, the merchants, even the undertakers, everyone was in on the graft. And I do mean everyone. So I try to convey that too throughout the course of my book. I mentioned that the work by Zitkala, the historical Zitkala, and her report, Oklahoma's Poor Rich Indians, I've got 3 one-paragraph cases that summarize that will give you a flavor of the extent of the graft, the corruption, the things that again I call them the Elati generation, went through. And some of these I would not be surprised, some of these stories